Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're jumping into a technology that's totally reshaping how we work. It's called intelligent automation. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like getting a new, super efficient digital coworker.
So let's just get right into it. Think about your own job for a minute. All that repetitive data entry, the endless copy pasting, the little tasks that just eat up your day and your brain power. Now, what if you could just hand all of that off to someone else? What if you could automate the absolute worst parts of your job?
Well, that's exactly the idea we're exploring. It all starts when you stop thinking about automation as just a piece of software and start seeing it for what it really is, a new kind of coworker.
I want you to picture a team of digital workers who never get tired, they never need a coffee break, they never make a typo, and they absolutely love doing the boring stuff. This isn't science fiction, it's really happening. And the goal here isn't to replace people, not at all. It's to free us up, to unleash our very human skills for the work that actually needs a human brain. Strategy, creativity, and solving those really tough problems.
So, how does this digital workforce actually get stuff done? Well, the magic really happens when you combine two powerful types of technology. You can think of it as the brains and the brawn of the whole operation.
Okay, so it all breaks down like this. First, you've got the brawn. That's something called RPA, or Robotic Process Automation. This is the software that does all the simple, repetitive digital chores. We're talking clicking, logging into apps, moving files from here to there. But then you add the brains. And that, of course, is AI, artificial intelligence. The AI is what makes judgments. It can read and understand the context of an email or pull the right data off a complicated invoice.
And here's where it all comes together. When you combine the brawn of RPA with the brains of AI, you get intelligent automation. And suddenly, you're not just automating one tiny task anymore. You're automating these huge, complex, end-to-end business processes that need both repetitive action and some smart decision-making along the way.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool in theory, right? But what does it actually look like in the real world? Let's take a look at where this is already making a huge difference in everyday business.
Let's take something like employee onboarding. We've all been through it. First, the AI brain gets to work. It scans the new hire's resume and intelligently pulls out all the key info. Then, the RPA brawn kicks in, creating user accounts for them in 10 different systems. No typos, no mistakes. And finally, that same RPA bot automatically triggers an order to IT to get their new laptop and phone sent out. The whole thing is seamless, super fast, and error-free.
And it doesn't stop there. This is happening across all kinds of industries. In finance, you've got automated invoice processing. For insurance companies, AI is flagging potentially fraudulent claims for a human to review. And in customer service, it's intelligently routing your support ticket to exactly the right person who can help, which cuts down your wait time like you wouldn't believe.
So you can see, this is so much more than just a neat piece of tech. It's really kicking off a revolution in how businesses operate. So why does this matter so much? What's the real impact here?
At the end of the day, the results are kind of staggering. You get business processes that can run 24/7 without ever stopping. You get accuracy that's nearly perfect, which gets rid of all those costly human errors. And you get unbelievable speed. I mean, tasks that used to take a person days of grinding manual work can now be done literally in minutes.
And believe me, this isn't some niche trend anymore. According to the research firm Gartner, a whopping 90% of large companies say that this kind of automation is now a strategic priority for them. That's a massive signal about where the entire business world is headed.
And just to put that into perspective for you, back in 2023, fewer than 10% of these big companies had automated even half of their processes. But by 2026, that number is expected to triple to 30%. The speed of adoption here is just accelerating like crazy.
But of course, a change this big doesn't happen without a few bumps in the road. It's so important that we talk about the human side of all this. How we navigate this new automated workplace.
One of the biggest hurdles is just figuring out if it's working. It's one thing to roll out the tech, but actually proving its return on investment? Well, that's another story. In fact, data shows that fewer than 20% of companies feel like they've really mastered this. That means over 80% are still on a major learning curve. And that's not the only challenge, for sure. Companies also really struggle with plugging this new tech into their old, sometimes clunky existing systems. Then there's the very human side of managing change, helping your team adapt and let go of old routines. And maybe the most important piece of all is the huge need to reskill and retrain people for the new kinds of jobs this technology actually creates. Which, of course, brings us to the big question. What about our jobs? The fear is that automation is just a sneaky way to cut costs by cutting people. But the way experts are seeing it, it's really more of a fundamental shift. By handing off the routine stuff, it actually elevates the human role, pushing us toward higher value work like analysis, building client relationships, and true innovation.
So, intelligent automation is here. It's giving us a digital coworker that's ready to take on all the drudgery. The real challenge for us isn't just about adopting the tech, it's about totally reimagining what we can do with it. Your digital coworker is ready to go. The only question left is, what will you achieve together?